Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. In the latest earnings conference call from Amazon, we got some great news for Amazon stock investors. So that's what I'm going to elaborate on in this video here. So let's get right into it. So, as the economy had been uncertain over the last year, AWS customers have needed assistance cost optimizing to withstand this challenging time and reallocate spend to newer initiatives that better drive growth. Amazon proactively helped customers do this. What does that mean in simple terms? Amazon's customers were decreasing their spending with AWS, right? They try to use some fancy jargon here, but all the gist of it is Amazon customers were looking at AWS spending and looking at how they can cut those costs because their own businesses were uncertain and slowing down. And so they looked at the only areas that they have, one of the only areas that they have of discretionary spending, and they paused or reduced, and one of the areas was AWS. And Amazon wanted to be customer centric, so it helped those clients optimize their cost and find the highest return on investment areas that they had within AWS. All right, okay, so now Amazon has seen stabilizing AWS revenue growth stabilized during the second quarter, where they reported 12% year over year revenue growth. And that's the great news for Amazon stock investors, that the revenue growth rate had stabilized in the second quarter because it was just falling. And let me show you that chart here. So here I have AWS segment down here. I want to point your attention to this first highlighted line. And what this is AWS revenue growth starting in the first quarter of 2022 and moving onward until the second quarter of 2023. And you could see the number continuously falling from 37% to 33 to 28 to 20 to 16 to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive quarters of decreasing revenue growth rate for AWS. And so investors were concerned, how far is this going to go? Is it just going to continue falling into negative territory even? And so with Amazon management coming in this quarter and saying, hey, we're seeing it stabilize, it looks like this is the bottom, that's a great relief to Amazon stock investors, because another thing I have highlighted here, AWS is the company's most profitable segment by a wide margin. Here I have highlighted AWS operating profit margin in the trailing 12 months, and you can see that's also been falling, but it's still at 24.7%, far ahead of its international segment, e-commerce, which lost 3% in operating profit margin in the trailing 12 months, and then the North American e-commerce segment, 3.9% operating profit margin. Compared that, the plus 3.9%, negative 3%, to the 24.7% operating profit margin for AWS. So it's a great relief and certainly great news for Amazon stock investors that management has did say in the August 3rd earnings call that revenue growth rate stabilized in the second quarter. So that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on for the third quarter. Can Amazon report 12% or higher revenue growth for the AWS segment? Because that would signal an end to the 5 consecutive quarter streak decline in revenue growth in AWS, which I have shown you is the company's most lucrative, most profitable, and arguably the most important part of its business. All right, but that's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.